Start. Mangesh, would you like to start?
Yeah. So I guess technology is prevalent. Health issues are definitely prevalent. It's just a question of increasing the awareness and being realistic about what solutions we are adopting. And we as consumers can essentially voice ourselves and make sure that either the technology firms or technology providers or the pharmaceutical providers do cater to those solutions.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mangesh. Mohammed?
I think employing technology and telemedicine can be cost efficient in the long run and should be encouraged and adapted.
Thank you. Anil?
Well, out of these deliberations, two couple of thoughts that have come to my mind. I would say, or let me say these possible solutions which have emerged. One is I was glad to hear him saying about the solution about the cloud, prescription.
Yes.
That I think could be one of the solutions to the prescription, which I think is worth looking into. Which I personally would say so.
Yeah.
Secondly, I personally feel that the way forward in telemedicine in India, because I mean, as you said earlier, and also the main focus of telemedicine in India is the rural areas and the areas where the patient outreach is not so easy. I personally think the first step should be of some doctors. As we know, most of the doctors in the rural areas are not specialists. They're basically GPs, or and they may not even have the full qualification. But they're approved by the government to carry out diagnosis. So the first step could be of somebody in the village tying up with specialists in the main big cities. The problem would be, how would these people know which specialist to tie up with? Are they familiar with them? Do they have the confidence to get in touch with them? And I think there, I would say the pharmaceutical industry can play a role, because we are in touch with every doctor. And therefore, if we can support a doctor in the rural areas to get in touch with the specialists in the big cities and just put them in contact, which would not take place otherwise or for a long time. I think that could be one way to reach out to the doctors and the patients which are within the reach of those rural areas.
Which would also take care of the issue that you had mentioned. Yes, please. Sanjeev?
So, for me, I think I would apply Pareto's law to telemedicine, that 80% we should ensure that 80% of our effort is concentrated on creating preventive health and disease awareness or better health awareness in this country. 20% should be concentrated on treatment.
Well, I'd like to briefly summarize. I think what we heard were in the beginning that there are a few challenges, but what I also feel that everybody, the audience as well as the panel, believe is there are a lot more opportunities than there are actually hard challenges. But what I'm also hearing is, it seems that no stakeholder alone can manage it. Simply because the process is too complex, and to really make it happen, number one, we should take small steps. We should not really go for the sky. Look for simple successes with simple examples like the one that you have mentioned, Sanjeev. Secondly, we have to collaborate. It cannot be government versus private or regulatory versus industry or anything like that. It basically, all of us, the providers, doctors, patients, industry, the government, we all have to work together. Only then can it really happen. I mean, we often talk about that in other contexts. It seems this is one where it's simply required because the processes are complex, it's process associated. Nobody has the reach or the financial strength or the know-how to do it alone. And I think that there are even other things that we have not talked about. I think compliance, for example, is an issue. I know from Western studies that in lipid-lowering drugs, the compliance is less than 33% after 6 months of prescribing, even though patients are better educated there. I have never seen any data in India. If we could monitor that, again, that would go in the direction that you have been speaking about, Sanjeev, about prevention, but also in what you have said, better pharmacy management, etc. So I think there are a lot of uses. I'm really grateful to all of you gentlemen from the panel, from the audience for such an active participation. I personally have enjoyed it very much. Thank you also to you, Dr. Mishra, even though you were not a panelist, but actually we should have asked you to be one. Thank you so much. I wish you all a very nice afternoon. But before we close, I have one small duty to to fulfill, which I'll do with extreme pleasure, and that is to thank all the members of the panel with a small token gift. Dr. Mohammed, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sanjeev, thank you so much. Such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Anil, thank you very much for being a part of this panel. Thank you so much. And Mangesh, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure having you here. Thank you. Thank you.
And to you?
Yes. I know, she's not there. She's not there.
So I think we must tell Mohammed to hand over this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish you a very nice afternoon. There's still one more session to go downstairs, and I wish you a very nice journey back. Thank you very much for being a
I'll give you my copy.
Thank you so much.